You know how some researchers love to say that this was published in a journal with an impact factor of 15 or something like that. But what does that number actually mean? And is a higher impact factor always the best choice? Today we're going to break down the concept of journal impact factor, how it's calculated, what it means exactly, how you should choose the journal based on the impact factor of that journal, common traps you need to avoid when judging research quality based on the impact factor. We're going to give examples for all of that, so let's go. Welcome to the Meta-Analysis Academy, where we help you with the science of making systematic reviews and meta-analysis. My name is João Evangelista. I'm a Brazilian medical student and proud member and student of the Meta-Analysis Academy. And today I'm going to help you with that concept of journal impact factor. The journal impact factor, or IF, is a metric developed by Eugene Garfield in the 1960s. It reflects the average number of citations a journal has for any given article in the past 2 years. And the formula is pretty simple. You take all the citations of a given journal in the past 2 years and you divide it by the number of articles published in the past 2 years. In other words, you divide citations by number of citable items. In Essentials is a popularity score for journals, and it is entirely based on how often the articles published in that journal are referenced by other physicians, by other researchers all around the world. And in that sense, the impact factor is amazing. It completes its purpose, which is to give you an idea of how popular a journal is and how influential on average are the papers published in that journal. And this is incredibly important in academia. More citations mean more visibility, more influence, more funding, more career opportunities in the future for you. But there are traps in judging research by those means. But remember, impact factor is an average. There are groundbreaking papers that are published in very low impact factor journals. And there are pretty mediocre papers that are published in very high impact journals. Also, be aware that a lot of journals, and I do mean a lot, have tremendously high impact factors because they published a lot of literature review articles, which tend to be very oftenly cited. But that does not mean that each and every single article published in that journal was cited that many times. It's an average. I'm going to explain some more traps to you in just a second, but I have some things to say before that. If this video is answering questions for you, if it's helping you out, please consider liking and subscribing. We already have a lot of good videos and there are many more in the making, I promise you. And you're gonna miss out in a lot of value if you don't subscribe. All right, let's keep at it. We have to think about impact factor in perspective. When we're judging if a journal is good for us or not, it has to be only one of our considerations, not the whole picture. For instance, the New England Journal of Medicine will probably have an impact factor of more than 70. But there are some journals in very niche specialties that have an impact factor of 2, 3, but here's the catch. The smaller journal might actually be the best for your article. Say that you have a very niched research with a very narrow topic. If you publish it in a very specialized and yet low impact factor journal, it might be the best publishing ground for you because the readers are going to be super invested in your results, because all of the readers are going to be likely very interested, very invested in your results. It's going to be important for absolutely all of them. Whereas if you publish the very same niched article in a very high impact factor journal like the New England Journal of Medicine or whatever, okay, it's going to be read by more people, but those people are not necessarily going to be the most targeted audience possible. In fact, many of them, probably the majority, is not going to care one bit about your article. So you take my meaning. You probably want the highest possible impact factor in that same population that's actually going to care about your work. Bottom line is, you want a high impact factor, yes, but you also want to match your research with the people that actually want to read it. Impact factor is a piece of the puzzle when deciding to publish any given article in a journal. You should combine it with other considerations like the journal's scope, the journal's audience, if the journal itself is indexed in PubMed and on any databases that you particularly want. What's the access of that journal? Is it open access? Is it something else entirely? And most importantly, how well your research will fit into the journal's aims. Ask yourself, why should this journal publish me? And if you can't find the answer, it's likely not a good journal for you. And that is it from me, guys. I hope you now understand the journal impact factor system. And if you have any more questions, please leave it in the comments below. And don't forget to check for next events here in the Meta-Analysis Academy YouTube channel, where we have good stuff coming out all the time. Metacast episodes, publication roadmap, videos explaining stuff like this one, and many, many, many more. All right, see you in the next one. Bye-bye.